Hi, Sylvia. You asked me recently whether I wanted to marry you or not, right? You said you wanted to get married soon and that you would be the one proposing, but you wanted my answer as soon as possible. Why do you want to get married in the first place?
Yup, I did say that, Lionel. I want to get married soon because I'm going to turn 30 in just a half a month now, after all. I want children as well, if possible, and considering my age, I thought that we should make the decision around now.
You want children, huh? Yeah, I think I don't want to marry you after all.
What? Why not? Do you not want children or something?
To tell you the truth, I want to have a bit more fun while I'm young. Getting married and having children is such a hassle, you know? We won't have much money to spend on our own amusement if we have children, and we'll have to take the time to take care of them.
A hassle? I know raising children is a lot of work, but you're going to give up being a parent just because it's a hassle?
Yeah, I think I am. Besides, there's no need to sound so down. The difference between a married couple and an unmarried couple is just whether they turned in some piece of paper to the city hall or not. Even children, you can still give birth when in your 40s, right? If you think about it like that, we can have fun for 10 more years. Why go through the trouble now when we don't have to?
So you're telling me to give birth once I'm in my 40s?
I mean, you said yourself that you wanted to have children, right? So it shouldn't be a problem for you, right?
Yeah, but I want you to think about the risks of giving birth to children in your 40s. That's why I'm talking to you about this right now. We can't put this off any longer than we already have, Lionel.
What's the matter with you, Sylvia? You sound a lot more anxious than usual. Well, if you really mean what you're saying, then I guess we have no choice but to break up.
Huh? Break up? After we've been going out for the past 10 years?
Yeah, I'm not interested in this marriage and children stuff. If you don't want to break up, then I want things to stay the same.
I understand. That's fine then.
Yep, let's just keep things the way they are and not worry about marriage and stuff. I'm glad you finally get the point.
No, I meant that it's fine if we break up.
What? But we've been going out for 10 years. Can't just break up now. Oh, I know. You're bluffing right now too to get what you want, right? Well, it's not gonna work.
I wonder what these past 10 years I spent with you were. Now that I think about it, all we did was kill time together. I honestly don't understand anymore. Goodbye, Lionel.
What? Sylvia? Did you just get mad or something? Just contact me when you're in a better mood, okay? Hey, Sylvia. It's been 5 years, right? I'm finally ready to get married, so I decided to contact you again. I think I'm going to accept that offer of yours now. Anyways, you moved sometime after we broke up, right? Just because you got mad at me and were in a bad mood doesn't mean you can just keep your new address a secret from your boyfriend. I thought you were still living in that old apartment of yours, you see. I wore a suit and bought some roses and a wedding ring because I intended to propose to you. To think that I was so nervous when I rang the doorbell, but when the door opened, a completely different person greeted me. It was so awkward. So, where are you living now? I've got a surprise for you as well, so I want to tell you it, so I want you to tell it to me by tomorrow. Hey, anyone there? Don't tell me that you're still mad about that fight we had over 5 years ago, are you? I didn't take you for the kind of person to hold a grudge. Jesus, I better make sure not to make you mad once we get married. What's your new address, Sylvia? Just tell me when you see these texts, I guess.
What the fuck? Is that you, Lionel? Shit, I must have forgotten to block you. What is it that you want?
Oh, so you finally saw the messages I sent you. What do you mean by you forgot to block me? Why in the world would you ever do that? I'm your boyfriend. But we've got more important matters. Seriously, what in the world are you doing? Jesus. If you don't hurry up and tell me your new address, the surprise I have planned for you tomorrow will be ruined. Hurry up and tell me your new address. It won't do if I don't know how long it will take you to get to the venue, right?
I'm not going to tell you my new address. And what do you mean by a surprise?
I told you by text yesterday, didn't I? I'm finally ready to marry you, so I have a surprise prepared.
I don't know what you plan on doing, but I don't want your surprise. I have no intention of marrying you anyways, let alone of meeting you again.
Huh? Are you seriously still mad at me? Jeez. Will you just let it go already? You're the one who said you wanted to get married, right? What's with the sudden change of heart? And to think that I was finally ready to get married.
I said I don't have any intention of marrying you anymore. Besides, didn't we break up 5 years ago? Did you seriously think that I haven't moved on by now?
Huh? What do you mean you moved on? Oh, I get it. You're still mad about the fight we had 5 years ago. Seriously, Sylvia, just let it go already.
That's not the point. Yes, I was mad at the time, but that was 5 years ago and I've already moved on. It's not that I'm mad, it's just that you're not a part of my life anymore, Lionel. Why'd you even think of contacting me in the first place?
Fine. Then why don't we just get back together and get married then if we broke up and you've moved on, as you say?
What? Do you seriously not get what I'm trying to say? I have zero intention of getting back together with you, Lionel. Stop texting me.
It's no use trying to lie to me, Sylvia. I see right through you. I mean, we did go out for 10 years. I know you still like me after all this time, and it's so obvious that you're still into me. I'll accept the proposal you made to me 5 years ago. So just come to the wedding venue tomorrow, alright?
The wedding venue? Huh? Did you seriously reserve a wedding venue or something?
Of course I did.
But aren't weddings supposed to be planned out by the couple first? I think there are a lot of things that can't be decided without the bride there. What did you do about the wedding preparation?
Oh yeah, you're right. They told me the bride needed to be there to plan the wedding with me. Which is why I had your sister cooperate inside for you.
My sister?
Yep. She's about the same age as you and looks like you too, so I had her pretend to be the bride and come with me for the wedding preparation.
What? You know that I cut ties with my sister when I was 28, right? She caused so much trouble that even our parents cut ties with her. I told you that she was crazy, Lionel, but you still decided to approach her. Who knows what she's planning? If I were you, I'd just cancel the wedding and have nothing to do with my sister anymore.
Oh, come on, Sylvia, you're exaggerating. Your sister's a perfectly normal person. I don't know why you ever cut ties with someone so sweet. Besides, there's no need to worry about the details. The planning's already done, and all you have to do now is come to the wedding. The wedding venue for tomorrow is called H Wedding and is in K City. They said they need the bride to be there by 8 a.m., so don't be late, alright?
What in the world make you think that I'd actually go? Have you seriously not been reading my texts?
There's no need to be shy. You've known each other for so long. I know that when you're like this, you actually mean the opposite.
Sorry, but I have a date with my husband tomorrow, so I can't come.
What? Your husband? Oh, you mean me? You're right, I was intending to turn in our marriage papers tomorrow. But what do you mean you can't come to our wedding because you have a date with me? We can't just postpone the wedding and go on a date if that's what you meant, Sylvia.
No, that isn't what I meant. And by my husband, I don't mean you, Lionel. You see, I already got married with another man 3 years ago. I even have children now.
Huh?
Now that you know all this, I guess I'll tell you the rest, since you'll find out sooner or later anyways. My husband is your second cousin, Manuel.
What? Manuel? But he's 5 years younger than you. I knew you were that kind of woman, but still.
That's right, judge me if you want, but I don't care. By the way, I started going out with Manuel not knowing that he was your second cousin. I only found out that he was your second cousin at our wedding, because amongst his relatives at the wedding was your cousin, which I had met before.
What? Why did you not tell me about this?
Because we had already broken up and didn't feel the need? Still, I was so surprised when I saw your cousin there. After a bit of investigation, I found out that your cousin had already cut ties with you since you tried to interfere in some of their inheritance business when you had no right to do so. I heard that both you and your parents were shunned by the rest of your relatives. Is that true?
That has nothing to do with our marriage. We'll talk about it afterwards if you want.
Tell me, does this mean that you have a debt or something?
Just a tiny one, maybe?
My father is the CEO of a company. He might have been planning to marry me so that you could get the position of the next CEO of my father's company, getting rid of your debt in the process. But it's not going to work.
How did you know that?
I mean, thinking only about how you yourself could benefit from a situation is your specialty, isn't it?
So that's what you thought of me all along?
Yup. I don't know why I didn't break up with you sooner. But isn't that also why you refused to marry me 5 years ago? You didn't want to get married and have children because it would be a hassle for you, right? You wouldn't be able to spend as much money on your own entertainment if you had children to take care of, after all.
That's unrelated. What matters is that I'm finally ready to marry you.
Yeah, but I'm not. Anyways, I got off topic. Like I said earlier, I already have a husband and children. Oh, and about my father's company, the next CEO was already decided 2 years ago, and he's someone completely unrelated to me.
What did you say? So I'm not going to become a CEO even if I marry you?
Yes, although you're not going to marry me in the first place. Well, that's all I have to say. You understand now that you won't benefit from marrying me anymore. I think that's enough to make you give up, right?
Seriously? What am I going to do about tomorrow's wedding then? I had a really extravagant wedding plan since I thought that your family would be able to pay for it in the future.
Each wedding at K-City, right? I heard that wedding ceremonies there are really expensive.
Lend me some money, will you? This wedding was supposed to be yours in the first place. This is partly your fault, so at least pay for half of the cancellation fee.
No, I'm not going to lend you money, and I'm not going to pay for the cancellation fees.
Come on, don't be so stingy. At least think about it a little longer. Seriously? What am I supposed to do now? Sylvia, help me. What should I do? I was forced to marry your sister. Was she planning this all this time? You're right, she really is crazy.
Huh? So that's what she was up to. I told you that you would regret having anything to do with my sister, didn't I?
I was surrounded by a bunch of tough-looking guys and forced to come to the wedding. And then they forced me to say the wedding vow with your sister at the chapel. The wedding papers I had prepared for you and me as well. They made me sign it with your sister's name as the wife's name. I admit it, you were right, so please help me.
Hold on. By the surprise you had planned for me, were you planning on getting me and my sister to make up or something? Did you seriously think that that was going to make me happy?
I mean, who wouldn't want to make up with their long-lost sister?
She's insane, Lionel. Although, I guess you know that by now. You asked her to pretend to be me during the wedding preparations, right? I had the feeling that you would tell her to come on the wedding day as well.
Oh, yeah. I was intending on that.
I see. So that means my sister was planning on marrying you from the start. No one's going to deny it now, since you had her pretend to be your wife after all.
Huh? But surely they'll believe me if I tell them what really happened, right?
I think that's going to cause you a whole host of other problems. Anyways, it looks like you haven't noticed until now, but apparently you're exactly the kind of guy my sister wants. Even when we were together, she would always annoy me by saying, "Give me your boyfriend." It honestly pissed me off really bad.
Huh? She said that to you? Why do you never tell me about this?
I don't know. I guess it was embarrassing. Now that I think about it, I think that the reason I stayed with you for 10 years was because I unconsciously didn't want my sister to have you, and not because I liked you or anything. Yep, I was pretty foolish back then.
What are you talking about? I don't get anything you've been saying, Sylvia. You mean that you only stayed with me for 10 years to spite your sister? Fine, just help me then, will you? I have no intention of marrying your sister.
Stop asking me for a solution to this mess, alright?
I wonder if the only solution is to do something about those tough-looking guys following your sister around.
I don't know.
Wait, who are those people in the first place?
I said I don't know. Why are you asking me?
Hold on, don't tell me they're part of some gang.
Hey, could you please stop asking me? I really don't know, and I don't want to accidentally say anything strange that might get me involved in this mess.
What? So you're just going to leave me? Don't you feel the least bit responsible for this?
I don't.
Uh,
I mean, it's my ex-boyfriend and my sister who I cut ties with, so there's no way I'm going to get involved with that. The only reason I'm replying to your text right now is because we think that this is an irregular situation. Your second cousin and my husband, Emmanuel, are reading these texts and only replying because we have to.
Huh? Manuel's there with you?
Yeah, he is. There's something he wants to tell you as well.
What the hell does he want with me?
We cut ties with you and your family because all you three cared about was money. I don't want anyone like that bothering my wife, he says.
But, I really need you to help me right now. I don't really want to get married.
I see. Bye.
Huh? But Sylvia!
After that conversation, I blocked Lionel, confused as to whether he wanted to get married or not. The only reason he was able to text me in the first place was because I forgot to block him all those years ago. I heard about what happened after that from a friend who knew what happened, but it seems like Lionel and my sister haven't broken up and are now living together. Apparently, my sister is pregnant with Lionel's baby and won't let him leave her because she wants Lionel to take responsibility for the baby. To be honest, I wanted to make a joke and tell him something about how he's been making my sister pretend to be me for too long, but I restrained myself. My sister, on the other hand, who was finally able to marry the man of her dreams, hasn't noticed that her new husband was in a huge amount of debt, it seems. I wonder for just how long this happiness of theirs will last. Actually, I guess they were never really happy in the first place.
Brooke, it's been too long. I'd love to catch up for a little bit, but first, would like to let you know that I have something that I wanted to send you in the mail, and it has to stay refrigerated. Is there a day in which I can have it delivered to you? Hey, Allie. What do you plan on sending me that has to stay cool the whole time? If it's something that could spoil or any other kind of food type, we don't need it here. No, it's something else actually. Look, this year you guys won't be coming to our house for Labor Day, right? So I was thinking, since it'll be the last bit of summer, I'd send some of Ben's favorite ice cream. The last time he stayed over here, he went to an ice cream shop just around the corner from us and absolutely loved their ice cream. Ah, that stuff that was pretty expensive, right? I remember he even got himself a pint of it to take home so that he could eat more of it later. That's right. So I was thinking of sending an ice cream cake to you guys from that store. So can you tell me a day that would work best for you to have it delivered on? Alright, then have that ice cream cake here on this Saturday for us. Anytime after lunchtime will do. Will do. I'll put it in for this Saturday anytime after 12 o'clock. Alright, thank you. Make sure that you eat a lot of it as well, okay, Brooke? My son has had to be at work a lot recently, so it's left you having to deal with Ben and the chores all on your own, right? And just like this time, he's had times in the past where he's been away for work for long periods of time, right? Thank you so much for being there for my boy. No, that's quite alright actually. I married him knowing that he'd be working out of town a lot, and so I don't need to be thanked for marrying him. Ben hasn't been lonely because of it? He's already in 3rd grade now, and he understands that his dad has to be at work a lot and doesn't mind either. He knows that his dad is doing it for the purpose of supporting him and I. My, so he's finally growing up that fast, is he? And if he continues down this path of picking up on things quickly, he'll be a real relief for both me and my husband. And as for my husband, it's nice that he's making a lot of money with his work. His work even rarely has to go through any layoffs, so it's a real blessing that he's made a career within that company. Well, that sounds about right. He works for the government, so he doesn't have to be worried about anything like that. But just thinking of Ben, he's still in elementary school, so he has a lot of time to change from the way he is now into someone else entirely. Now that I think about him, what is he up to right now? If you can make it work, I'd love to call him for a bit to talk to him since it's been so long. Do you think the two of you can call on another day? Right now he's with one of his friends at the library working on some reading practice so that he doesn't fall behind over the summer. Oh, how amazing of him to do that. When my son was in elementary school, he never cared that much about studying or anything to do within his school. Ben is really shaping up to become as great as you are, Brooke. Even though you say that to him, I know a lot of kids that never listen to their mothers and actually do that. Ben really is a perfect little boy. Well, then I guess I can wait for another day to hear his voice over the phone. Alright. I'll make sure he talks to you soon. Please, and thank you. Now, good luck with Ben, okay? It's still been pretty hot out for August, so make sure that you take care of yourself and don't overheat. Brooke, I just received that letter in the mail that Ben wrote for me. He even made a cute little picture for me, and it's warmed my heart up so much. Can you tell Ben thank you for me the next time you see him? Huh? You got a letter in the mail? Yeah, something that looks almost like a postcard came in the mail from him. Does this mean that you never knew he sent something like that to me? Yeah, I don't know a single thing about that. He didn't say anything rude to you in that letter, did he? There was not a single thing in there that came off as rude to me. Just things about how the ice cream cake was delicious and that he's been going to the library a lot to keep up on reading. He also wrote that he wants to come see me and his grandpa really soon. Is that so? Well, if there was nothing off about that letter, then that's a relief for me. But it's just amazing. I never expected that a kid his age would already know how to write and send me a letter. It's been a whole year now since we met, so this has really made me so happy. I'll let Ben know that for you, okay? I wonder where that boy learned to even send mail in the first place. Right now, most kids are all focused on using smartphones and things like that, right? You have a point there. I didn't teach him anything about that either. He probably ended up learning about it at school from one of his teachers. Haha, maybe he was asking one of them how to do so they had no choice but to show him. He's at the age now where if he sees someone else doing it, he'll want to try it out for himself. Allie? I know that I'm only just bringing this up now, but I think that you're being a little excessive with how often you contact me. Perhaps I told you about this once before, actually. I'm sorry, Brooke. Since then, I hadn't heard anything else from you, and after getting the letter in the mail from Ben, I wanted to let you know how happy I am. I know that you're not trying to be rude or anything by talking to us this much, but it's becoming a bit of a problem. It hasn't even been a whole week since the last time you texted, so you need to do something about that. And as for you sending us things in the mail, I'd rather that you don't do that anymore. I'm sorry for thinking about you all so much, but I really don't mind sending you guys gifts in the mail. And that's what I thought you'd say, but don't expect anything back from me. I'm the kind of person that means what I say. So what I'm asking is that from now on, you stop checking up on me all the time and sending all these messages and gifts. I understand that my husband is busy with work and all, but talking to me this much is driving me up the wall. Soon my husband will be back from his trip, so you can start talking with us then, so that I don't have to always be the one seeing your texts. Alright, Brooke. I'm really sorry for all of that. I totally understand how you feel about it all now. Well, if you do understand, that's great. I have a lot on my plate here, so there's no time for me to talk with you. I'm sorry, but I don't have the patience to just sit around and talk to you every day. And as for Ben, I'm the one that's raising him, so you don't have to worry about how he's doing while he's with me. Before you start to think that you can see him all the time because you're his grandma, think about how he's my son and he needs to be around me more than you. Now, I have to get going. Brooke, I have something to talk to you about. I'm asking you to please pick up your phone right now. What is it that you want with me now? Allie, calling me at 11 p.m. is very inappropriate, and I'm not going to forgive you this time if it's not for something important. I already told you before to stop talking to me all the time, so what do you want? Well, I'd like to know why at this moment, with what's going, you're trying to relax and get some sleep. Tell me right now, where are you? Why would I be anywhere else beside my house? Calling me this late at night, what the hell do you want from me? My son is trying to sleep right now as well, so stop with all this crap. If he is to wake up because of you causing me to move around, what kind of problems do you think that'll create for me? That's very strange, Brooke. You say your son is there sleeping, but he's over at my house with me. My son is? What the heck are you talking about? Ben came over to my house. I have no idea what you mean by that. Do you know how far of a trip it is for over to you guys from ours? That's not the kind of distance that some little kid like him could walk. Even an adult would have a hard time walking that far at this time of the night. I'm being serious about Ben being here with me right now. He seems to have taken the bus to get over here. The bus? That kid has never been on a bus before, so how did he take all that by himself? Ah, I think I get it now. You're at that age now where you're starting to become a little senile. Don't worry about it though, Allie, because Ben is back here with me. I'll make sure to let my husband know that his mom is starting to show signs, okay? Allie, I have something to ask about Ben. Wait, didn't you just tell me last night that we wouldn't talk to one another anymore for the time being? I'm sorry about that. I have something that I'd like to check out with you about. Something you'd like to check with me about? Did Ben really go over to your house? He did. It's about time you finally realized that Ben wasn't at your house at all. But that kid shouldn't have any kind of money on him, right? Yet how was he able to get on that bus last night? When you really think about it, that distance he covered was far too long for a third grader to cover. It's unbelievable, isn't it? Yes. Well, the way he got on that bus and came over here was by using the money I gave him for his birthday. Huh? You gave him money for his birthday? When did you send that to him? Recently, I had sent over that ice cream cake, right? Well, I happened to send the money with that as sort of a late birthday gift to him. I wasn't able to come see him after his birthday after all. I suppose you would have done that, huh? Ben has told me you never came home yesterday. He told me everything about what's happened between you and him while he was there. Allie, you have it all wrong. My mom ended up being really sick and needed help to be with her, and so I had to hurry up and head back to her house without a lot of time to spare. Then why didn't you just at least take Ben with you if it was back at your family's house? I had planned on being back to my house right away. But even still, that's pretty irresponsible of you to do that with him, right? Especially when you were out of the house for almost 2 whole weeks. Ah, right, you did end up coming home every now and then though. But you only came home to change into new clothes, and that was all, right? Is Ben really telling you all these lies? So that's the way you're going to try and change the story for us? I have been doing all I can do to make sure that I'm always there for Ben. I'm sure he's just making me seem like a bad parent because I scolded him a little while back, but I only did that because he wasn't behaving himself. Brooke, let me tell you what condition Ben was in when he came over to our house last night. It didn't even seem that he'd seen a bath for at least a month. He told me he hadn't changed out of his clothes for almost a week and a half. There's no way he looked like that last night. After how badly he looked coming to our house with whatever strength he had left in him, I'm not going to be swayed by your pathetic excuses. He had no idea how to take the bus and had to talk with complete strangers about how to ride one. And the only reason he was able to find this house was after he took the address off the box of the ice cream cake that I'd sent a while back. He came here and told me to help him the moment I opened the door. And right after that, he passed out onto the floor. Ben passed out? What have you done to him? Don't start acting like you care. I've done nothing wrong here. You already know that this is due to him not having eaten in weeks. I had to take him right to the emergency room last night and the doctor had to run all kinds of tests on him. I had been trying so hard to be a good mother. I'm so sorry. I'll even try harder to keep an eye on him. I'm coming to see him right now. No, you're not. I don't want a beast like you raising Ben any longer. You can even feed your own child, let alone be there to make sure that he was okay. There is no point in you being a mother to him anymore, right? I happen to have a neurotic disorder. So now you're going to blame this on your illness of yours? Every single time you're going to make up an excuse to try to avoid having to be responsible for what you've done. I'm being serious about this though. My husband has been gone for so long now, and I've to take care of everything in the house. And having a son that's still in elementary school is the hardest thing to handle on my own. But the last few times I've spoken to you, you made it seem all as though you were all right there. I was just doing that to avoid you. I don't think so, Brooke. For the time being, no matter what kind of excuses you may have, I'm not handling Ben back to you. I'll call the police on you. You don't have the rights to that kid. They'll come and arrest you for kidnapping him from me. If you want to call the police, go ahead and try it. Because you'll come to find that calling them will only make your situation a whole lot worse than it already is. Allie, please just give him back to me. I want my kid back right now. No matter how many times you try asking, it's not going back to you. I promise that from now on I'll put more effort into raising him while I'm alone here. Please just let me see that kid. You're being a pain in my butt. Then at the very least, don't tell my husband about this. You can keep Ben there with you for the time being, but don't tell my husband anything. I'll let you hold on to him until my husband is back in town. Brooke, you still don't understand the circumstances you've made for yourself yet? I'm not holding on to Ben because I want to keep him as my own. I'm protecting him because he came here asking for his grandmas to save him. Allie, I'll apologize for everything that's happened these past few weeks. This isn't the situation where you can apologize to me for it anymore. I had all sorts of stress build up due to having to raise that kid though. Your husband has worked the same sort of job my husband is working right now. You should be able to sympathize with the kind of feelings I'm having right now. I don't know the feeling of being home alone and having to raise a child by myself. I know very well the stress that comes with having to raise a child and all of that. But I've never been in the position where I chose to ignore my child because I'd gotten tired of them. Also, I'm already telling my son about this. Huh? But he should be somewhere where he cannot receive any calls or texts, right? Yesterday he was in an area where he could receive calls for a bit, and that's when I spoke to him. Maybe it was God's doing, but the timing of it was all perfect. Perhaps he was doing it to save Ben after all the hardships he'd been through with you. Did my husband say anything about this? I don't have to tell you what your husband said. You already know how he's reacted to this. My son has been the kind of father where he's not working or doing chores. He's out playing with Ben. I know that he's had to leave you at home a lot for his job, but he always feels sorry for doing that to you guys. Yet now he's at the point where he will no longer be able to trust someone like you with his family anymore. Allie, help me, please. I don't want him to divorce me. You left your own dang son and caused him to end up malnourished? You know that there's nobody going to help you out of this now? I'm so sorry though. I really didn't mean to screw up this badly. I will never do something like this again. From now on, I'll make sure that Ben is the number one person I think about. Ugh, that should have been the way things always were between you and your son. Please, Allie, I'll do anything to make this all up to you. I'll even let you see Ben whenever you want. And I'll never ask to talk back to you ever again. So please just forgive me for this and let's move on. You stop all that crying right now. This is not about me forgiving you or not now. Every time you opened your mouth, a lie came out. And anytime it wasn't a lie, it was some crappy excuse. I'm not going to continue discussing all of this with someone that can't learn from their mistakes. I am learning though. How else was I supposed to go about all of this before without anyone's help? And now you want me just to accept what's happening here? I've been a housewife all my life and now I'm being threatened with a divorce? My gosh, even now all you're thinking about is yourself? You haven't even expressed any worry about the condition Ben is in this whole time. So you're never going to see this boy again. It's too difficult for me to even understand why such a sweet boy had to go through something as terrible and heart-wrenching as this. How about before we continue anything, you go to the doctor and get yourself checked out? Tell them that you have troubles caring for kids and only ever think about is yourself. I'm sure they might be able to get you the help you need and get down to the bottom of that neurosis you have. From there, Ben's father came all the way back from his work and divorced Brooke on the spot. And with no issues at all, the judge made sure that full custody of Ben went to his father. And after discussions between the judge and both sides' lawyers, it was divorced that the reason behind Brooke never being home for those 2 weeks was due to her having another affair. And now, everyone has come to the conclusion that she deserves no more time with Ben. However, there is a concern about my son having full custody of Ben still, since he has to always travel for work, leaving Ben all alone at home. And so my son has been thinking about quitting that job of his and being here with his son more often. However, the one that told him not to do that was Ben himself. He told his father that the job he had is so cool and that he loves him no matter if he's gone for short periods of time. And so, because of that reason, my son has asked to move back in with myself and his father, and now the 4 of us live in this house together. And now that Ben is surrounded by both his grandparents, he's living the dream of always being spoiled before and after school every day. As for Brooke, her parents had disowned her over what had happened, and so she's on her own now working a low-end job. But in her current situation, she'll need to find more work to make money off than just having one job. Because if she doesn't, she'll be in debt for a very, very long time. And as for the man she had an affair with, he was also married, and so his wife ended up asking her for a settlement when she found out about their romance. I'm not sure what's going through the mind of Brooke at this moment, but I hope it has something to do with her regretting what she'd done to Ben, and we'll learn from it soon. Of course, everything she did is unforgivable, and so I never think I'll ever see the day that I do choose to forgive her. Just thinking about how Ben had written that letter to us back then, it makes me cry every time knowing that he was sending us such a sweet letter when his life at home was so miserable. I really wish that Brooke would have just asked me for help and I could have been over there right away to help take some of her parenting stress off her shoulders. But after never being able to see one another, he finally found whatever strength he had left to find his way to me asking for my help. I'm never going to let Ben have any more heartbreaking memories like this in his life. From now on, I'll do everything I can to make sure that Ben lives the happiest life he can, and to do so, I'm going to be spoiling the heck out of him. Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story.